You've probably heard of Alcatraz, a federal prison built on an island near San Francisco. It closed in the early 60s, and fewer than 12 guards from the prison are still around.
As it turns out, one of those guards lives right here in the Wabash Valley. News 10's Joe Ostrowski tells his story in the latest installment of our series, Average Joe's.
We got this house in 1972.
If you want to learn about dedication, talk to Jim and Kathy Albright. For years, they've been dedicated to each other. And for many of those, Jim was dedicated to his work with the Federal Bureau of Prisons. And he worked everywhere.
Marion, Illinois, and then on to Petersburg, Virginia, on to Terre Haute, Indiana, to Milan, Michigan, and then back to Terre Haute.
But it's his first assignment he remembers most. That assignment was Alcatraz.
When we crossed that Bay Bridge and seen Alcatraz with that circle of fog around it, I think our hearts dropped clear down as far as they could go.
I'd never been in a prison before, let alone work one. And when I went through the door or the sally port and they closed the door behind you, it gets your attention right away.
Jim worked as a guard. He remembers murders and escape plots, but he also remembers long nights at sea.
You sit there for 8 hours and you see nothing going on, you know, there's no moving, everybody's in bed sleeping. And I used to have to get out and walk around the catwalk to get out in the air to wake myself up.
But while the prison gave Jim his start, in 1963, Jim helped bring the prison story to an end.
As it turned out, I was not only the last guard out, but I escorted the last inmate off the island. We took him right down through the Broadway, as they call it, the main corridor in the cell house, and right out the front door. And we've got photos of me escorting the inmates right out the front door.
Leaving the Rock was tougher than you'd think.
And we used to live right here. I didn't want to leave. Even some of the inmates didn't want to leave. We had some of the big tough guys was actually in tears.
See, Jim and Kathy had built a life at Alcatraz. They'd built friendships, and they'd built a family, giving birth to 2 daughters and raising a son.
They both have USP Alcatraz as place of residency on their birth certificate. Well, it was like a little town, and we didn't even lock our door. We knew where the bad guys were.
Those days are gone. And much of the prison is too.
Lighthouse is gone, A building's gone, the warden's house, the doctor's house, it's all gone.
Even a fortress falls apart. But families, those are different. And after 58 years, Jim and Kathy's is still rock solid.
She's something special. She is something special. She's the rock in our marriage.
And as for dedication, Jim and Kathy still have that one locked up. In Vigo County with photojournalist Tony Casasilla, Joe Ostrowski, News 10.
Quite a story. That's
yes,
amazing.
Wonderful. Very interesting.
Well, if you know someone with an outstanding story, you can nominate them at WTHI-TV.com.